here at the Social Media Lab Annual Symposium Influence 12, and I'm joined today by Gilad Lotan, who is the Vice President of Research and Development at SocialFlow.com. Could you tell us a little bit about SocialFlow?
Yeah, sure. So SocialFlow is an optimization technology. We're a startup in New York City, and effectively what we do is help our clients figure out the best time to post to social media, so to post to Twitter and to Facebook. And what does that mean? Right, let's say you're The Economist. You have all this content on your website. Do you post it all to Twitter and Facebook? Do you post some of it? When do you post it? Right, these are all questions that they have to deal with on a daily basis. What we do is we build these intricate models of their audiences online. So who follows The Economist on Twitter? Who fans them on Facebook? What of the articles tend to get comments? What gets likes? What gets shares? What gets retweets? Right? All these metrics that we can pick up from social media, and we effectively score all the content that they could publish and figure out what's the best post to publish to the network at any given point in time, based on all these historical models, based on what's going on right now in the network, what people are talking about right now, based on how active people are at any given point in time. We started mostly with media accounts, so mainstream media. They have this very specific problem. How do they know what to post and when to post it to the network? And then how do they know how well they're doing? Right? So our tool is very good at doing that. It takes in all the content, models the audience, and figures out what to post. If you're like The Economist or if you're the New York Times, you don't want to publish everything. Right? We definitely see diminishing returns the more you publish from a certain point in time, because it effectively takes over people's feeds. Right? So you have to figure out how to cut things down and then to message appropriately. So we've been very successful with media, and we have a lot of the major media accounts using SocialFlow. But recently, it's interesting because more and more brands have wanted to work with us because of the types of data and the analysis that we have. So even though they don't have necessarily a lot of content that they want to share, I mean, sometimes they have marketing campaigns and a variety of messages to put out, but they're not like media outlets, obviously. So their problem is not necessarily knowing how to cut down the content, but it's more like understanding their audience, figuring out who's there, what type of people follow them, and what type of content they can generate to actually target that relevant audience and grow it in a way that's relevant for them. I've seen a number of websites and tools that claim certain hours of the day. For example, Friday at 2 p.m. or Wednesday evening. Those are the best times for engagement. I'm sure like everyone's seen those types of studies. And they're extremely, extremely flawed. Because a lot of them, they don't take into account the audiences. Right? And that's when you actually start to look at the groups of people who follow the accounts that you're looking at, you recognize that each group, each network has its own certain patterns. So we definitely see patterns in the activity of a following group. So people who follow Pepsi are, in their behavior, in their activity, are very different from people who follow Al Jazeera or people who follow Burberry. Right? The patterns are different. They might wake up and be more active at different times of the day. For example, a lot of the accounts that we have are sort of North America-based brands, so their audiences are much more active in the time zone during the day in North America time, right? Eastern time, Pacific time. But there are some brands or some outlets that have a much more international audience. For example, take National Geographic. They put out amazing content, like all these beautiful images through Twitter. They post every hour to some beautiful picture from the magazine. And they get amazing uptake, almost no matter what time of day they post. So you really see this activity throughout the world, almost regardless what time it is. And these are obviously the two extremes, but we see incredible variations on time of day. So the main platforms that the tool looks at are Facebook and Twitter. With Twitter, we work very closely with them. We have access to what's called the public fire hose, which is every piece of content publicly posted on Twitter. The majority of people have public profiles on Twitter, so that takes in the majority of the network. And we get that data streaming to our systems in real time. We index it, and we use it within the application. With Facebook, we look at all the public pages through our different clients. So whatever public information is available through those pages. which is still quite a lot of data. We actually published a study recently on Sina Weibo, the equivalent of Twitter in China, in mainland China. And it's about 2 or 3 times the size of Twitter. And there's one major difference between this network and Twitter, the ability to add emoticons in the network. So as you're typing your post, you choose from this drop-down menu, you choose like a smiley face, an angry, or there's like 30 options. And when you choose it, it embeds the word that represents the emotion on the text. So you actually, it's interesting because somebody made a specific choice to use a certain word that represents an emotion in their text, and it's actually a feature that's heavily used. So once you mine this data, you can actually start to understand topics and affinity to emotions because it's a feature that's in the network and that's sort of heavily used in the context of the network. So again, this is just one example, but every network obviously brings with itself a different structure, a different context, and a different set of practices. And you can use the data to mine it and understand it and make decisions based on that. One thing that we do use a lot in the data mining team is Wikipedia. So we not only use the actual Wikipedia pages to understand topics and the relationships between topics, because it's a really beautiful, clean data set and really, really well organized. So we use that for data mining purposes. But we also use the logs, the traffic logs. So Wikipedia also publishes and makes available all traffic logs. So that's a social signal that's available to anyone who wants it on the web. But it gives you a lot of information about what topics are hot right now, right? Based on where traffic is shifting within Wikipedia. So it may be a movie, a page about a movie, a celebrity. It may be, obviously many times a political event, historical event, if it's a holiday of some sort or commemoration. So we use these traffic logs as a signal, and it's a social signal as to what's important at any given point in time. So that's another source that's sort of hidden, but it feeds our sort of algorithm and decision making that we make.